Today I will be presenting the topic about depth, bottom topography, and substrate characteristics of fishing grounds and how they influence fish population. Let's start with why depth, bottom topography, and substrate are important. So these factors define the physical habitat of fishing grounds. Uh, they determine where fish can feed, hide, spawn, and grow. So if the depth is suitable, the seafloor structure is favorable, and the substrate supports food organism, fish population becomes more and fish population becomes higher and more diverse. So now let's focus on the Visayan Sea as an example. First, as you can see, in terms of depth, the Visayan Sea is shallow, mostly less than 100 meters deep because it lies on the continental shelf. Dito, nakikita nyo naman sa mapa. So, since it is shallow, sunlight can easily penetrate the water. This means an increase to primary productivity, meaning there are more phytoplankton can grow. So, these phytoplankton support small pelagic fishes like sardines, anchovies, and herrings. So for the bottom topography naman, the Visayan Sea has a broad continental shelf and a gently sloping seabed. It has wide open fishing areas and minimal deep trenches. Because of this, large fish schools can easily form and migrate, which support commercial fishing activities. So that is why ang Visayan Sea, ano talaga sila, may abundant fish stock in terms of sardines, herrings, and etc. Next, let's move to the substrate characteristics. So the Visayan Sea mainly has sandy and muddy sand substrates. Along coastal areas, there are coral reefs and seagrass beds. Muddy substrates support benthic organisms such as worms and crustaceans, which which are uh, food for demersal fishes. Then coral reefs and seagrass bed serves as the nursery grounds for juvenile fish. Because of these features, the Visayan Sea supports high fish abundance. So yun na sinabi ko kanina, may magandang ang Visayas ang ginawa kong example kasi siya yung may pinakamagandang depth, bottom topography, and substrate na characteristics. That is why Visayas Sea is very high in terms of fish abundance. So next, to sum up, fishing grounds with suitable depth, broad continental shelves, and productive substrate tend to have higher fish abundance and diversity. Yon, pinaka-best example natin is ang Visayas Sea. These physical features provide feeding areas, nursery habitats, and stable environments. If these three combines with proper management, they result in productive and economically important fisheries. So, yon. Ito yung reference ko. Ito yung reference ko, guys. The next is, uh, or now, I will move to my second topic, which is the current patterns and upwelling and their role in nutrient transport and fish abundance. So, ang second topic ko is more on related lang din siya sa first topic ko. So, ocean currents and upwelling are important physical processes in ocean or in the ocean. So, they regulate nutrient availability. Nutrient support plankton growth, syempre. So, para dumami yung plankton is um, yung ocean currents and upwelling events, ito yung nagdi-distribute along with other seas to support plankton with their nutrients. So, 'yon. is my example for this is the West Philippine Sea. West Philippine Sea is influenced by monsoon-driven surface currents. So, yung sa West Philippine Sea is um, maganda yung ocean current patterns nila dun kasi it is driven by monsoon. Especially during the northeast monsoon. There is seasonal current reversal also, which helps transport larvae and supports fish migration pathways. So, in terms of upwelling events naman, uh, it also occurs in the area or in this area. So, wind-driven coastal upwelling brings cold, nutrient-rich deep water to the surface during certain monsoon periods. This increases nutrient in surface water and enhance phytoplankton growth. So, next is, so, dito na tayo sa tapos naman yung pag-distribute ng nutrients. So, because of nutrient enrichment, phytoplankton blooms form. So, syempre, kapag nag-bloom yung plankton, uh, nag-bloom ang plankton, this increase zooplankton population also, which strengthening the marine food web. So as a result, small pelagic fish increase. Large predators like tuna and mackerel are attracted to these areas. This leads to higher seasonal catch rates. However, pero may however, so productivity depends on the strength of upwelling and is sensitive to climate variability. So even though maganda yung upwelling pati current patterns doon sa West Philippine Sea, mas prone din yung area na yon to climate change or yung mga ano tayo natawag, yung mga bagyo, palagi siyang nadadaanan ng bagyo. So these changes in wind patterns and ocean circulation weakens upwelling. When upwelling weakens, nutrient supply decreases and fish abundance may decline. Siyempre, apektado yung um, fish abundance doon kasi kapag bagyo, yung nadidistrap yung distribution ng nutrients. That is why kahit gaano kaganda yung upwellings and currents doon is may disadvantage pa rin siya kasi palagi siyang natatamaan ng bagyo. This is why understanding ocean currents and upwelling is very important in fisheries management. So, yun lang yung part ko guys. Thank you.